Located in the greater Houston metropolitan area with a population of 6 million, Galveston Bay is a complex mixture of salt and fresh water, home to a variety of marine life, shrimp, oysters and redfish to name a few. The seafood harvested places the bay second only to the much larger Chesapeake Bay in product landed and marketed. The ecological survival of the bay, with an average depth of 8 feet, is a delicate balance between competing interests. The Port of Houston Ship Channel, dredged to 40 feet, runs through the shallow bay, and the increasing urbanization of the area results in more household debris being washed into the bay from a network of bayous around the city. On the west side of the bay, midway between Houston and Galveston, are Clear Creek and Dickerson Bayou. This year, the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation are including Dickerson in their annual cleanup.
So Mike, you're off to Dickinson, huh?
Yep, we're on our way to do Dickinson cleanup for the first 2 weekends of January.
Why don't you grab a group and go over that way?
Trash right there, Dave.
Okay.
We're starting to put the boats in, boat ramps here, getting our volunteers going. We get these little boats and we go out and we pick up all this trash along the banks. Normally we do it always during low tide.
A lot of fishing line. It's my first day. I'll be here tomorrow also. We'll be going out to the side to pull the trash up from the bottom right along the bank.
We have bags, boats, and we have barges. What we do is we pick up all this debris on the banks, we put it in this boat right here, and then we run it out to the barge, unload it on the barge. Keep going back and forth all day long. And we do this every Saturday and Sunday for 8 weeks. This is how it gets done. This is going to be a long 8 weeks of cleanup. Tires, plastic. Probably 80% of the trash that we do pick up is going to be made out of plastic. These are gas lines off the boat. This type of weather, in the wintertime, it's cool and no tides. It keeps the predators away, so it makes it a lot safer.
It's soft mud. Yeah, real soft mud.
Now we're on Dickinson Bayou, getting off in this mud, and you'll sink about 1.5 feet in the mud. We get off, hold the boat closer, get the volunteers as close as we can to these shorelines. We have great many of volunteers that come out here. It's going to be a cleanup from Dickinson all the way through Galveston Bay, up through Kemah to Friendswood.
All aboard? All right, Rex. Not yet. We'll find it.
This is a main waterway for the industrial part of Dickinson Bayou, where they have concrete plants and barges in this area. So a lot of stuff and debris floats up tidal into these areas in the wetlands. Industrial tires that are tied to barges and push boats get broke off, and they'll float and they'll get up there on the shoreline, and we'll pick it all up. Moving along the bayou here, you can see this is part of the industrial part where they have a lot of machinery, but you can see the tires on the side of the barge, and those break off and they'll float up, but we'll get them.
Right on the other side, barbed wire bit.
Wait till you see what we bring out from here.
We found a porta can that floated back in there, and we're getting it on there, and things seem to be working pretty good so far, but you just have to be very careful what you do with these things because they are dirty. Bags are heavy, about 100 pounds or more a piece. Chairs, there's everything that you can imagine. Look at this stuff. This is stuff the volunteers, whoops. There we go. Now we got it, and now we can go. Here we are pulling up to the barge. Mike Stone helping us get the boats unloaded, and they maintain the barges while we bring the stuff to them. It's quite an operation. We find so many different things that it's fun. Just look what we found. Now we're in the mud, tearing up the prop, tearing up the boat, because we're always stuck in the mud. But the only way to get this stuff that you're getting is you have to get up to the bank. That's just what it takes to get it done. Everything's wet that we're usually picking up, so it makes everything a lot heavier. This is Dickinson bow. It's no different than the other bow. It has to be maintained and it has to be cleaned up. And the volunteers are doing that in this community.
Whole bunch of trash. We're going to do one more day tomorrow out here on Dickinson Bayou. The next Saturday, the 21st, we'll be unloading the barges at Highway 3 bridge on Dickinson Bayou.
We got the barges, we got the push boats, and we're going after more. It's basically no different than your highway. Your highway always has people picking up trash, like the highways too. It's maintaining itself, it's looking better. The habitat's better all the way around.
Barge that we filled up last weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And as you can see, we found several tires, buoys, and we even found a boat, TVs. I think there was even a kitchen sink in there. Most of this right here was collected around the 146 bridge boat ramp and the other of Dickinson Bayou. A lot of stuff there.
January 21st, we're on Dickinson Bayou here.
This is the day of the annual cleanup that we unload the barges. We've teamed up with the city of Dickinson, and these are the high school kids. This is our core. These are the people that come out and use the muscles to move this stuff after we've worked several weeks picking it up. This is all volunteer coming together, doing something for its area. These kids are so much fun. They're so creative. You watch. You won't believe that some of the things they come up with when they start unloading the barge. We do it safely, and everybody is trying to do the best they can so they don't get any nails in their hand or in their feet. We got a lot of tires, and they have barnacles on them. We got gloves on these kids because they're gonna get cut if they don't, but look at all the tires here.
About 50 to 60 tires.
There's a door, there's the side of a building. Here's a couch. Everything you can, gas, LP gas, and a TV. I mean, anything and everything man-made, we're gonna find it out there if you look hard enough. But the greatest thing about it, it's gone now out of the waterway, and it's absolutely looking better. This is one of the boats we found out there, and it was sunk. We figured out this is going to be a great boat for the future of the Clear Creek Environmental, because we plant a lot of grass and habitat areas. We could use this boat, put the grass in it, take the kids out there, float that boat with the grass to the area we're going to plant in. Look at this. These are the kids that are having fun, and that's what it is. If you're having fun volunteering, you're going to come back, and that's what I like to see. These kids are happy, they feel good about what they're doing, they're also learning about their waterways. Everything we've got here in the past several weeks is all being loaded now and out of the waterway. These pilings that you see right here are floating in the bios, and if a boat hits them, it's going to take out a lower unit or throw somebody out of the boat. So it's very important that we get these floating objects out of the water. Well, we're all done now here in Dickinson. This is Dickinson Biles saying howdy else for 2012. We're on our way to Clear Creek. We have 4 more weeks to go, and we're going to clean it up just like we did Dickinson Bayou. We're all volunteers. Nobody's being paid, and it's just a fun project. No politics and issues.
The founders of CCEF Recognizing a need to clean up the 10th most endangered waterway in the US, have united business, government, communities and citizens in saving this waterway by generously donating time and effort in preserving this vital resource.
We're continuing on from here on Clear Lake. We start in Clear Lake starting Sunday morning, and we're going to work our way all the way to Friendswood. We've done this now for 13 years. Today we're at Randy Hall and Joanna Yates and Brian Gates Marina. We are now unloading these barges onto the main barges that are going to be coming up for the annual cleanup. This is how we do it. We bring a barge in, unload it, get it ready for tomorrow.
Life jackets are in that dock box.
My name is Mark Denman and we're on our peninsula here. Most of the trash has been placed on the peninsula. It comes by water. It doesn't come internally or blown on from land. And so the cleanup has to be mostly accessed by water, which is why CCF is so effective in the type boats they use. We've had a very effective cleanup over the past 3 or 4 years since Ike. We're getting ahead of it finally, but every time there's a major rain event or flood, it brings more trash down. The city does donate to CCF, so they're very well used city funds because the work is quite difficult. We've been very successful of getting this peninsula cleaned up. One of the things we've done or accomplished over the past 16 years is we've been successful at building a protective barrier using cordgrass. If you took pictures of about 15 years ago, you would see bare shorelines and significant evidence of soil erosion and shrinking of the peninsula. Working with CCF and the Rex Wards, that they started this program probably about 12, 13 years ago. Just by planting splotches around the peninsula, it's successfully spread. We're probably 90% covered now. So that's been one of the most impressive advancements, I think, in protecting the peninsula.
This grass right here has a root system on it, and it spreads wildly. It definitely helps stop erosion. It filters the water as it comes through, the settlement goes down into the grass, and eventually it just builds it up inch by inch. So we're actually doing a habitat and stopping a very serious erosion problem on Clear Creek. Now a year from now, this right here will be about 3 foot, maybe 4 foot square. The root system will take off through the ground, under the water, and it'll bring new sprouts up. And it'll get as thick as this right here is what we planted a couple years ago. Mike Stone, he's getting everybody registered. We're at Egret Bay 270 boat ramp. Got the boats out there, getting ready to go. This is Clear Creek around the Highway 3 bridge area. Tide's up a little bit high today. We'd like to see the tide about 3 foot away from the bank. Right now everything is just kind of dormant and winterized. In about a month from now, all this grass will be about 2.5 foot high, so it'll be very difficult to get the trash. We hit many areas and many different areas. This is a brushy area.
Here we are in the upper reaches of Clear Creek. My name's Captain Tim Bradbeer. I'm a fishing guide in the Galveston Bay area. We're in a little brackish area where you'll catch a redfish and then you may catch a bass.
This is a largemouth bass because the mouth is obviously large. It's about 3 pounds, maybe more. A pregnant female, which means there'll be bass in here for a long time as long as people don't keep them. Practice catch and release.
We'll certainly catch and release if you're not fishing for food, and it has allowed us to do a lot of scientific observation of what's happening in our bays and estuary systems as well as the Gulf.
It's a very unique watershed that we're in right here. Even though we're getting into the upper reaches of fresh water, it's still a tidal creek. Tides can rise or fall anywhere from 1/2 foot to 2.5 feet.
Tide's out, it's about 3 foot away from the grass, and this gives us the opportunity to get the trash out from underneath the trees in the area that we're trying to work. But we set out volunteers all up and down these biobanks.
And when you have big full tides, means extremely high tides, any trash that's up on the bank will get sucked out when the tide goes out, and bring debris into the waterways, and there could be hazards to navigation that you're not aware of. So this cleanup is very important as far as, you know, navigation goes, and it's just aesthetically pleasing just to be able to drive down Clear Creek and just look on the bank and not see a white trash bag or pieces of plastic, because plastic is something is not going to, it will not decay. It's going to be there forever.
Here's plastic. It's plastic, 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 just about everything. Balls, footballs, tennis balls and all that come out of your storm drains from roads or people's homes whenever it rains.
It's a shame when it starts affecting the birds and the wildlife in the area.
We have flat areas, we have wetland areas, we have areas that are on top of banks. The water will drop that stuff behind the grass, behind the bushes, and we just get these big heavy bags donated from these oil companies that help us so much. You could drag these bags. You can't take a Glad bag and expect to do what you're doing right here. These bags are very heavy duty bags. These bags cost $3 a piece. You have to have tools, and this is a tool here that you have to have when you're doing this kind of work. It's been a real good day on the banks. They picked up quite a bit of trash. You keep doing that every day, that adds up.
You see a clean shoreline, clean mud there. That's a good indication of the health of the creek. That has to do with, in part, through Clear Creek Environmental Foundation, our efforts to remove solid waste in the creek, as well as other agencies and entities that are watchdogs, our bays and creeks and bayous in this area. Watching things like overload of bacteria. When we have bad water in our creeks, and that means it's going to go into our bay. And then from the bay, it's going to go out to the Gulf. Galveston Bay is, of course, one of the greatest natural resources that Texas has. We want to keep it healthy as we can. And you get the trash out, the native grasses, the marsh grasses can begin to grow and create more habitat. When you have a bunch of trash along the shoreline, it inhibits that growth cycle.
We have stockpiled on 3 different barges throughout the past 4 weeks on Clear Creek. Mike's coming down Clear Creek towards Highway 270, Egret Bay, and he's going to hook up with another barge here.
Something around the propeller? Oh, the propeller's just chewed up from trying to get shallow water to get the trash. We go through lots of those.
Mike Stone, he is our #1 mechanic. This is where we keep these barges until our day of the event. It's a safe harbor. Very important, everything we do here is safe, that everything is tied up correctly.
Well, it's a typical cleanup here on Clear Creek. February the 18th, 2012. We got tremendous amount of weather coming down. The river's coming up, but it hasn't stopped the volunteers. They're out here just like they always are. Get it done.
This is the big day, the annual event. The volunteers, what they have to do to get it done. We got our jackets on. Some people have trash bags on. This year we picked up around 120 tires that are coming in. People that discarded them in the wrong place, and we're doing something about it. Everybody's in good spirit. Everyone's taken care of. We got pallets here. There's a TV. We had TVs in Dickinson on the Bile. Now we got TVs here and they float everywhere. We have anything and everything you could possibly imagine. Escoban, #1 of our sponsor, 13 years.
Very much. Thank y'all for doing this.
Mission accomplished.
This project saves cities, local government and the state thousands of dollars each year. It serves as an example of how volunteers working together can make a difference in their part of the world. It gives back to the state of Texas, and everyone is proud of being part of this.